Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Tax Thursdays brought to you by Smart Counsel. I'm your host, DDQ, here with Smart Counsel's tax resident attorney, Dionne Kellier.
Hello.
Happy Tax Thursday,
Happy
Dionne.
Tax Thursday, Dee.
How's your week going?
My week is going well. I'm glad it's almost over, but I'm going to Epcot on Friday. Haven't been since a child, so.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. That's like one of my favorite memories going there.
I don't even know if I've ever been to Epcot, but my other best friend, her birthday is on the 13th, so making that trip.
Nice.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
Are they doing the wine and food?
You know it. Friday, Friday we're going.
I think about that all the time. They have the best food and drinks there from like every country. It's amazing.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna eat everything. I'll tell you about it.
I'm jealous. Thank you all for joining today in another episode. If you are new here, please visit our website at www.smart-counsel.com so you can learn more about our firm, our attorneys, and their practice areas. For this week, we are going to continue the conversation that we had, not last week, but the week before, about student loan forgiveness and those tax implications, what that looks like for the taxpayers' end. And then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into different types of loan forgiveness. So I guess, Dionne, just to kind of start, let's do a brief overview of what we talked about the week prior, just so we can get everyone caught up.
Absolutely. So last time we talked about what are the tax implications of student loan forgiveness, and based on the American Rescue Plan Act, any student loan forgiven up until the year 2025, the tax year 2025, will not be included in taxable income, because generally the rule is that if debt is forgiven, it is then considered income to the recipient. So that's that, right? So after we did our show, then President Biden passed the student loan forgiveness, $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant, $10,000 if you have a regular federal loan. So I'm going to give a little bit of details on that. So first, only federally owned student loans qualify. Private student loans are excluded. That's number one. Number two, second, high-income borrowers are generally excluded from receiving debt forgiveness. So that means if you are a single person, then you can make up to $125,000 a year, and if you're a married person filing jointly, then you get to make up to $250,000 combined income, and each of you can forgive $10,000 for regular loans, and if you have a Pell Grant, then each of you gets to $20,000. So what is a Pell Grant? It's awarded to millions of low-income students each year based on factors including their family size and income and the cost charged by their college. And they allegedly, people that have Pell Grants are less likely to be able to pay their student debt and end up in default. But a Pell Grant is not a loan. It's just you'll get a loan and a Pell Grant, right? Because a grant is free money.
Right. That's what I was kind of trying to wrap my head around was, can't you do both a loan and this grant?
Yes. So you get the grant is basically going to make up, or the loan is going to make up what the grant doesn't pay.
And do we have to pay back that grant?
You don't pay back a Pell Grant.
Okay.
But there are several things that exclude you from getting a Pell Grant. Number one, if you were an incarcerated individual, then you cannot get a Pell Grant. Well, why is that important? Because we know that there has been a disproportionate impact on communities of color as far as policing and people incarcerated for things that people are now making millions and billions of dollars from. So
definitely,
that's somebody that's affected.
Right. Kind of like going back on the marriage and the single, I saw this hilarious Instagram post of this girl like freaking out because she just got married within this last year.
Right.
And was unable to give her student loans forgiven. Is that a false?
So it's not false, but they don't give all the information, right? So like so when I was looking for stuff, didn't even cross my mind, didn't even think about it, because I feel like the law is straightforward. All right. But this is what happened. So I looked it up, and there was a couple. So decades ago, married couples were told combining their student loans would be the best option for them. But the law makes it impossible to separate the loans, meaning those who would otherwise be eligible cannot enroll in forgiveness programs. And so really, it is really applying to people that want that public service loan forgiven. And so Russell and Kate were told that consolidating their student loans would be the best option for them. And it allows married couples to combine their student debt into one loan, allowing them to make just one single payment with one interest rate. But the catch is that doing so has now barred them from getting their debt forgiven under a program specifically designed for public servants. So they have $330,000 in student debt, and while their incomes are sufficient to support themselves and their families, their public service work is not generally high paying. To that point, the monthly student loan bills cut into their spending necessities. So in 2006, Congress shuttered the spousal joint consolidation loan program, and the public service loan forgiveness program started in 2007. And in order to qualify for the public student loan forgiveness program, your loans that you consolidate have to be consolidated into a federal direct loan program. But most people were consolidating them into a private loan program because at the time they didn't have the information that this is going to be prohibited in the future because they didn't know.
Right. So nowadays, just to kind of like summarize everything, nowadays we cannot combine our student loans together if you're married.
But you can, it's saying that they shuttered the program, but I feel like the way that it's written, because of course nothing is going to be written clearly. If you are going to consolidate your loan and you are in public service, then you need to look at there has to be programs that you can consolidate your loan into that will still allow you to apply for the public student loan forgiveness. So it's now on the borrowers to make sure that whatever the law is at this time, you are within the confines of it, right?
Okay.
And so while what the person said, what you heard on Instagram is not unfactual, it is not, you need more details to get all the facts.
Right.
Is it a public? First of all, what type of loan what type of forgiveness are you going for? Do you think that it's this, $10,000 student loan forgiveness? Number one, the applications didn't even come out yet. So anything that anybody is giving you on it, other than theoretical, this is what the law is, nobody has been denied because nobody has applied.
Right. Okay, but don't believe everything you see on Instagram. There's always going to be...
There's always a catch. The devil is always in the details. That's why I want people, don't tell me what you read. Send me what you read so I can read it myself. So if we're both going to do our interpretation of it, I'm going to go with mine.
Of course, you're the pro here.
Right. So you made me look that up because it's, I didn't even think about that. It didn't even cross my radar. Nothing.
Yeah, thanks Instagram.
Exactly, right? And so, all right, so now let's get into, we're still going to talk about the loan forgiveness, either the $10,000 or the $20,000, right? So what year is the income threshold based on? Either 2021 or 2020 tax year. And it's your adjusted gross income. So there's your gross income, and then there are all of the things that could make it, adjusted, right? So if you had a 401k and you put money into that, if you had a traditional IRA and you put money into that, like all of these different things that can adjust say that you made $150,000 as a single person, but then there's all these adjustments to your income that then make you make 122,500,000, right? So that means that you now qualify. So even though your net or your gross, is 150, your net or adjusted gross income is going to be under the threshold of 125. So that is something that don't feel like just because your base number is above the 125 for a single person or above 250 for married people, that your adjusted number is not going to allow you to qualify, because things like your 401k and if you're taking out whatever you're withholding for your taxes, all of those things make a difference, right? Because when I first saw it, I'm not saying that I make those numbers, but I was like, whoa, hold on. What are we basing this off of? Is it your gross or your net? It's your net.
Okay.
So
perfect.
good information to know.
Yes, 100%. I don't think a lot of people, I mean, if you are paying attention to your taxes, that's something that you will notice. But I think a lot of people just kind of like here, just take it.
And just take it and run, right? And just like even with the
Yeah.
married person, like, oh my God, I hate it. We can't apply. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's the details?
Right.
And what's the and what's your situation, so that 1,000 other people or 1,000,000 other people don't feel like they are in your category, because you might have something totally different. You might want loan forgiveness based off of being in public service, and then you want the 10,000 because you make under 125,000 in a year. Like, so you may qualify under 3 different programs.
Right.
And you could be denied under the 3 different programs, but based on your specific situation and your specific circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So I'm sure you're going to go over this, but when are we able to apply for these forgiveness?
So October, not October 1st, not October 15th, but October is when the application comes out. So
sometime in October.
Yeah, the word is October. So it says the application is expected to be available by early October. You can sign up to be notified when it's available through the Department of Education's subscription page. And after submitting the application, you can expect the student loan relief within 4 to 6 weeks. But I think you have to do it by, I know it was December 31st. I don't want to give the year. I almost want to tell you that it was December 31st, 2023. But I may confirm it a little later. But if you are somebody that is eligible, then I would say apply by the end of this year. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. And so if you're already making payments back on your student loans, does that just kind of stop, or does that go, do you have to kind of start all over with that repayment plan?
No, so you are actually able to, if you were making payments while, during this like moratorium, you can apply for a refund to get those amounts paid back to you. Yep. And so okay, let's start. First, let's go to, how does the Department of Education know how much income you make? The Department of Education already knows about 8 million borrowers' financial information. And if they don't have your financial information, then you just have to go to the Department of Education website and you have to let them know your financial information, which I'm pretty sure they're going to want a tax return. 2020 or 2021. You don't have to pay taxes on the amount that's forgiven, because this amount is forgiven before 2025. If you are a current student, you are eligible for forgiveness. And even if you're in graduate school, you're able to apply for forgiveness. If you're a parent that took out a PLUS loan and your income meets the threshold, you are allowed to get the 20,000 of loan forgiveness, right? But you're basically the parent guaranteeing the loan for your child. And so if you were required, if you made payments since March 31st through the end of this year, then you are allowed to request a refund. There is a new income-driven repayment plan. So the old traditional income-driven repayment plan, basically you're going to end up paying less than what your interest is, right? That's basically how it worked. But now, President Biden said that he's going to create a new plan that would make repayment more manageable for borrowers. And let's see. So first, the payments would be capped at 5% of the borrower's discretionary income. So you're going to have to fill out, basically your financials, and whatever is considered discretionary, and that what is considered discretionary is discretionary, right? So it's going to be the person that is reviewing it that's making the decision that day. Because somebody may think that gas is discretionary, and somebody else may think that groceries at $400 a month, anything above that would be discretionary, because say that you're single and they're like, okay, we're gonna get $400 a month, but they're not factoring in that chicken wings are $7,000 now, right? So I mean, even if you cook from home every day, you're still paying you're eating at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. So you might as well, right?
Oh my gosh, no, it's so true.
Let's see. There's also a plan that would cover unpaid monthly interest, and but we don't know when those changes will take effect. So
it's all up in the air, right?
To be determined. So I mean, as far as the key takeaways as far as student loan forgiveness and the plan that President Biden has proposed or has made. One thing I did learn during this research and review is that you, as the payer of these loans, can also negotiate some sort of forgiveness with your lender. Nobody does this, but you can. So if you have the ability to, so I would say look into it and do it before 2025, which is 2 years, basically 2 years from now. So if you are able to, I don't know, if you're able to do it, do it. That's my advice.
How would you go about that? Is that between you and the IRS or you and the...
It's you and the student and like Nelnet or Sally Mae. And then once that happens, then it's not really between you and the IRS, because the IRS has blanketly said that any student loans that are forgiven between now and 2025, the end of 2025, will not be considered taxable income. So if you are able to, that is a good career path for anybody. If they are able to negotiate, first try your own, and if you are able to negotiate, things away, the amounts away, 30%, 20%, 50%, for whatever the reason is. I would probably think that, in a case of somebody going into an industry that was booming, and then while they were in school, and then they get out, and then the industry is almost defunct because it's been replaced by, I don't know, computer, then maybe they...
That's a really good point. I was just trying to think, what would I even try to argue?
I would love if I don't know if I would do it, but if I did it, I'd have I don't know, they'll probably look at me like, get out of here. the fact that you're even here lets me know that whatever the education is that you got the loans for, it worked. So
it's working out for you. So October, we should be expecting some kind of date where we can apply. Is that I know we were talking almost, I think it was like a 1099-C or something like that. Does that get sent to us and around that time? Or
so you're not even getting, so for the student loan situation, I don't even think you're going to get a 1099-C. That is going to be for all the other debt that we're going to talk about that could be canceled. Okay. So the 1099-C, I feel like for everybody, I don't even think you're going to get a 1099-C for it. I think it's just going to be one of those things, just like how when we got the stimulus payments, nobody got anything for that. So I feel like it's going to be the same type of situation. The government is just going to kind of attribute it to everybody. The IRS knows what you make, right? Oh, and I just saw something today that they are hiring workers in the hundreds of thousands for the IRS.
I saw that a while ago too, just how they were hiring a lot, and all the requirements for what they kind of expect these new hires to
audit
to do. And they just sent you a message is this necessary for the IRS?
I feel like it is necessary to make up for money that was lost. I always, I didn't think tax reform was going to happen, right? So I may not be the best source because I just didn't think it was going to happen. And still some of the rules are not even written yet, right? And so because it takes so long to get a rule written that I just didn't think it was going to happen. Okay, so it happened. All right, so I was shocked. But because we do tax planning for marijuana businesses, I just don't see how that tax code is going to go away, because how is the IRS going to make up for that income? Even if you step up audits on everybody, it's cost money to do an audit, right? It's time and resources versus just taxing this whole industry an exorbitant amount. And that money is going to come regardless. And if you have to audit them, yes, you are spending money, but you're still going to get that money back. I feel like taxation on the Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 drugs is guaranteed money. I was actually going to do a Tax Thursday on the psychedelics because everybody's going crazy on that, the mushrooms and all of that. However, when I went into it, it's a Schedule 1 drug, so there's nothing. There are no tax benefits. It's taxed the same as marijuana and meth and cocaine and you know what I mean? Anything else that doesn't get any tax benefits.
Right,
So,
right. Interesting.
so yeah, so nobody's
Okay.
talking about that, right? Like the psychedelics, this big push for it. It's actually, I find that anytime there's like this big commercialized push for anything, like it's bad news for that industry.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know I met up with a few of my former colleagues last week for something, and then we're just kind of talking about the marijuana industry, how it has slowed down a little bit with everything. And then I look on the news, and medical marijuana licenses are at an all-time low here in Colorado because the recreational, it's easier to get recreational marijuana. So it's just like interesting how it is like a ebb and flow kind of deal.
Right. Like it's a very like, and you know, I'm in Florida, so you know we do all things wonderful here, and like we don't even have. We're still trying to figure out our medical situation, much less our rec situation, and you know, I don't know. I would not want to make any tax laws. I would want to be a tax judge though. Speak that into existence. I do want to be a tax judge. I just wouldn't it? Oh my god, that'd be so great. But I would not want to be responsible for making the rules, because for every income source you cut, you need to replace it. And how are you going to replace it?
Right, right. Well, hopefully with all these new hires at the IRS, someone will answer the phone when people call.
Right. You know, yeah, right. Let's see, fingers crossed.
I know, right? I guess my last question before we do move on to the other loan forgiveness is, for the student loans, can those current students be eligible for forgiveness if you're like in school right now?
Absolutely. And so you can be eligible for forgiveness, and I guess it'll be based off of what right, this would be the best time if you're a student to get the loan forgiven, because you're definitely not making $125,000 when you're in school. And so, you know, I'm pretty sure it'll just apply at the end. You'll get a $10,000 credit for, you know, whatever it is that you owe. And yeah, I think it's a good thing. Do I wish that the numbers were bigger? I do. But like,
100%.
you know, I do think that there is definitely, so I feel like you take out the loan because you need to, because this is how much school costs. You don't have a choice. Like, you have to do it.
Right.
Do I think some of the amounts are exorbitant? I do. Right. But this is your situation. This is what you chose. And so I just think that, I feel like if everybody just has a little grace and a little bit of understanding, then we can kind of even out somewhere. And I feel like we lack that so much. So.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I've learned about like with hiring is like a lot of it is based off experience versus education, unless you are in such a very niche career, like an attorney or a doctor or, you know, maybe a physical therapist. But it is a lot based on like who you know and what you can bring to the table, you know, when it comes to like personality and ideas and all that fun stuff.
I feel like it goes across every industry, honestly, right? Because like I actually just had this conversation. There are people that are highly, highly book educated, book smart. But like being in a room with them, like you're like watching paint dry, right?
Oh my God.
Who wants that? Nobody. Unless you're in the type of job situation that requires it, and I think even they don't want it. Right? Like, I think that people that are like that, they don't even want to be like that. So they don't even necessarily want to be around people like that. I feel like they need people that are higher energy and, you know, to kind of get them out of their shell. So I personally feel like education is good, but it's everything else with your education. Because you could be book smart and like just lost in the world, lost in the sauce.
Oh my God. Yes, definitely had experience with those kinds of
I have to, and I have done some jobs where I'm like, oh my God, if I have to do this job, I can't. I don't care what, I can't. And then there's people that have been there for 15 years doing it, and you're like, I can't even make it a pay period.
I know, right?
I am the worst. Like, I'll tell you this. I am the worst in this aspect. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. If I don't like a job, especially, I'm not going to do it. I don't care what I have to pay. I don't care what bill is coming up. I cannot be in a job situation that I hate. There's not enough money.
No, for sure. For me, it's definitely culture is like a thing. I'm just like, man, I have to be, because you spend more time with these people that you work with than you do at
Yeah,
home, most jobs and careers. So it's like, it needs to be worth it for
it
sure.
does. Because the money, like you can make all the money and then then you're there for 44 hours a day and then you've never enjoyed life. And then when you retire, like you don't, I don't know. As of now, I have the ability to make the choice and I'll make the choice. Like, I don't care what my paycheck coming on Friday. All right, I'm gone.
There is like this thing now that I've seen. It's like the silent quitting by Gen Zs or whatever. And I thought that was very interesting too, where they're just like, like we're taught, at least how I feel, we were taught to go to do as much as you can, go over beyond, you're going to reap your rewards. And then the next generation's kind of like, I'm doing the bare minimum, I'm doing exactly what I'm getting paid for. I'm not going to stay over my hours or anything like that. So it's just interesting where society's kind of going with the workplace.
I absolutely agree with that. And like, I'm in the middle, right? Like, yeah, you do your stuff, you stick it out. Like always, you always need to be committed to what you're doing, right? But then I've seen people that have been in a place for 17 years and then they calm down, hey, bring your box. All right, peace out. So then, like, can you give 17 years to somebody that could just easily let you go? I mean, look at the people that worked at Enron, right? And the reason why I even bring up Enron is because I was researching something on stock options, and the reason why the rules are so different for stock options is because of Enron. And what they did was they did no worse. What they did was like, but they did it.
No, for sure. I think the pandemic opened a lot of people's eyes too. It's like one day you need me and I'm like breaking my back, and then the next day it's like peace out,
And the owners can't even survive, right? That's the craziest part, which, people, the one thing that I realized during the pandemic is people don't necessarily have any empathy for the owners of the business. Because they think they're living high on the hog, like they are like, nobody's in here eating steak and lobster while you're out there, working. Like everybody has their job to do in order to make everything run like a well-oiled machine. And yeah, that is one thing that I found, like empathy is lacking all around. The workers, the employers don't have any empathy for the workers don't have any empathy for the employers, and like it's a negative cycle. That's why I like when somebody works with me, I like the environment to be the type of environment that I would work in, right? And so like
that's a great way to look at it.
If I wouldn't work in it, we're not gonna have that relationship. That's how I do it. Different people do different things, but like I know myself. If I feel like, and I know that you value me, I will do a different job than somebody else. Like I had a friend, so we're not even going to get to the other debt today, so I'll just finish the story and then we'll just, go on the other debt and add to it next week. But right before I moved to Denver and I kind of like did a break on law, my friend has a uniform company, but she sells like shirts and things like that. So I went to work in the warehouse. I was in there breaking down boxes. I was like doing customer service. I loved it, right? And people would be like, they didn't know, like we didn't go in there saying that I was her friend, right? Because like we don't want people to know that. I just needed something to do. I needed to keep my mind going. And when they would find out what I did, I'm actually like, yes, I'm a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. But like, I enjoyed it. I could build a box like no other right now. I could build a box and I could fold a shirt like nobody's business, okay? And people would be so shocked by it. But like, she was good to me. And so like, I was good to her. Like I took pride in my job.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think a lot of people need to take that, for face value. Like any place, whether that's fast food or in an office setting, corporate of any kind, it's definitely just how you treat people. And they'll treat you good back,
Absolutely.
So I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way. Just because like I like working, I'm a hard worker. And so if you make it an enjoyable place, then you'll get the best of me. And then just like you, if I'm not getting like what I feel like value, I'll like definitely deflate, and I was like, I'm just doing the bare minimum here.
Right. I don't even like, the bare minimum. If it lasts a week, it lasts a week. Like I cannot, like I have gone, and so I have an older sister. I have an older brother and older sister, but my sister is like the super responsible one. Like don't leave a job until you have another job, which is what you're supposed to do. She'll be like, what is your plan? Blah, blah, blah. I don't have a plan. I can't take it.
I'll figure it out.
And that is the benefit that you get of being like a younger sibling, right? Like, because you can do stuff like that. I don't think my sister could ever or has ever done anything like that. I think even when she worked in like the mall, like she did not leave that job until she had another job. Man, I was like, all right, I don't think I'm coming back.
You're so funny. You're just like my little sister, and I'm like your older sister, where I'm like, I need a plan, my next step.
I have to have my 6 months of stuff saved and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, let's see. We're making till Friday. All right, we're
Figure
good.
it out. Right. I get my last check.
Right,
we'll
exactly.
see where that goes.
I'm not saying that's the best way to be. I'm not going to advise anybody to do that. I'm just saying that's how I do it, because like I cannot, my demeanor will tell you everything. And if I'm unhappy, we're all going to be unhappy. And that's it.
You're all suffering with me.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. Well, like you said, we'll probably pick up on the other loan forgiveness on our next episode next week. But I guess just to wrap up this episode, takeaways for the student loans from what we discussed today, what would those be?
Perfect. All right. So your income thresholds, if you're single, you cannot make more than, for your adjusted gross income. So basically your net amount cannot be more than $125,000. If you're married filing jointly, $250,000. The application will be on the Department of Education's website starting early October, but you can go there and sign up for the notification so that they'll let you know exactly when the applications come out. Once you do the application, they say you should get your refund within or you should see it. You're not getting a refund. You should see it applied within 4 to 6 weeks. And I mean, you have any of your student loan that's forgiven, $10,000 if you have just a regular federal loan, and $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant. So that's just an additional $10,000. It's not $30,000. It's a total $20,000 or total $10,000. And yeah, so if you have those, the only federal loans can be forgiven, not private loans. And I think that is it. I feel, oh yes, the amounts will not be included in your income up until the year 2025. And if between now and next tax Thursday, there's anything additional, which I think there will be something additional because there were a lot of people hot and bothered by this, then I will definitely talk about it.
Awesome. Those are great takeaways. Thank you so much. If you guys have further questions or want us to touch on anything in regards to this topic, send us your thoughts. You can send those to us via email at attorney@smart-counsel.com or DM us on Instagram. We're on Instagram at Tax Thursdays. We're very responsive there. Any questions, whether it's about this topic or a future topic, a past topic, send those over our way. Also, make sure that you're following us on all of our social media platforms and that you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future Tax Thursday episodes. Dionne, thank you so much again. Very fun topic, especially not having last week, catching up on everything. I'm excited to see where this all goes, especially as a former student with student loans.
I agree. Hopefully we get to that. They wipe everything out. I'm not going to be mad. Maybe they shouldn't, but I won't be mad at it.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll see what happens with those, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much again, guys, and we will see you guys next time.
Have a wonderful day.